What makes someone reach beyond the boundaries of human experience to face the unknown? As children, we question the world around us. We learn, we accept, and gradually we lose our capacity for wonder. But some do not. The explorers, the seekers of truth. It is these pioneers who define the future of mankind.
Hello everyone and welcome to this edition of The Slice. I'm Bill Peters, your host, and we're here again today with Carol Noonan, who is it's our second part. This is part two of our interviews, and today she's going to be expanding on what we talked about last time and offering up some new information. Hi Carol, thanks for joining us today.
Hi Bill, it's really great to be here and to be able to share some of the information with you. I'm really excited, really looking forward to it.
Awesome. Well, it's great to have you. We've been talking on the page a lot about the Pleiades and some of the things that have happened. Some people were talking about how the Pleiades were many different races, and so that's one of my questions for you today, because I kind of got in a little bit of a scuffle with them on it, because I was like, I don't know how many different races, but I never heard that before. So so that's one of my questions is, are they in fact many races put together, or just one particular race?
Well, that's a great question, and I'm just going to make a note so I don't forget about something you said before in the previous interview, but I'll cover that in the second part.
Okay.
Of the question.
Yep.
So what I've been told by them is that I'll just stick to your question strictly, and then I'll go into the other information a bit later on. I've been told that they were one race, but there was, and I can see your reaction to that. But bear with me a second.
No, I'm with you, because that's all I've ever heard is that it's one race until recently, and then somebody was very adamant about it, and I was like,
But there's the seven stars. So each of them would be different. Each of them would be slightly different. And I remember when I was in Lewisburg, and they were very closely connected to me at the time, and I had this woman Ella turn up, and I was in between being asleep and awake, and she's called Ella, and she had very brown skin, and she had long dark brown hair. So I think, because the way and she said that she was from Electra, and that's why she was called Ella. But I think, and I was in between being asleep and awake, so I saw her in my mind's eye, and she kind of woke me up. But I think with the Pleiadians, strictly speaking, I think they are very tall, blonde, blue-eyed, and angular features, very pale skin. That's how I always see them.
That's how I've always heard it too. So.
Yeah. And I always get a sense of blue around them as well, and I normally sense them behind me, kind of to my left, slightly off centre to my left. But I have been told that there was 13. 13 is very important, and it's come up a lot lately for me. So there was 13 crystal skulls, 13 tribes, 13 sacred sites, 13 stars. In astrology, there's 13 star signs, not 12. So 13 is really important. But the other thing that you mentioned the other day, that I didn't say anything at the time, but the information over the last, I think, I'd say the last year, about the Chinese population. And I just want to state that I'm not racist in any way at all. And what I've been told is that the Chinese have a very strong link to, and some of this stuff that I've been told is way out there. And I don't really know if it goes against the grain of what people are saying in the mainstream with the spiritual stuff, because I don't research stuff. But what I've been told is that the Chinese population or culture are very closely linked to the Greys, or, and let me state very clearly, or a group of ET star nations. They're very closely linked to them.
Okay.
And that's why they're so different. Because when you look at the Greys, you look at Chinese people, you can there's clearly a link there.
Huh.
As far as I'm concerned, there's clearly a link there with what I've been told.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't heard that, but it doesn't surprise me in the least. But they are kind of short over there.
Well, it takes all kinds, Bill.
Yeah. So they, let's see. So you said last time that they had been here both physically and communicating mentally as well. And so they probably got sick of getting shot at, I would say, every time they came around. So I would probably do it from a distance as well. But have you got the sense that they're planning on perhaps doing a little more disclosure on their own, or are they leaving it up to us to do? I don't,
I think my feeling, my belief is that they're influencing us in a positive way to help us to wake up so that we can share information and find out for ourselves what's really going on.
Okay.
They, when I first realised it was the Pleiades that I was connected to and channeling, they told me a lot about our real history, our true history of where we came from and who we are, and then I started to I did a shamanic course with Paul O'Halloran in Ireland, and I think it was 2010 or 2011, and I began, and this is after I began channeling them, but I began to have memories, lost memories coming back to me of having connected to them as a child. And I had always remembered I was given downloads of information, but I never knew who it was from. I just kind of assumed that it was from my own guides. So through the shamanic course, I remembered having connected to them as a child. And one piece of information they showed me, and I think I must have been about 12, was my, and I don't know if I shared this with you on the last interview, so I'll just kind of do it quickly.
Okay.
But it's to do with the Sphinx, and my mum was watching the news, and I was given a download of information, and it must have taken only 2 or 3 minutes, but it felt like a lot longer because I was given so much information. And I was looking at an image. I just kind of was like a deer in the headlights. I just froze. I was kind of held in place, which has happened a lot to me over the years. I've just been haven't been able to move. So they downloaded. I was looking at an image of the Sphinx, and I think it was on the right hand paw as I was looking at it head on. Underneath, there were steps going down, and then there was a secret chamber or secret area beneath the right, as you're looking at it head on. I'm sure it was the right hand side paw, but there's secret chambers going underneath.
Well, that matches with what they've been excavating recently. So.
Again, I don't research stuff, Bill, so I don't really know what is.
They literally had scaffolding set up around that paw and were excavating. I've seen the video of that. So I'm not sure what they found, or if they're ever going to tell us what they found. If it's a repository of knowledge that's probably been spirited away. And
no, they won't tell us. They'll give us little bits of information just to keep us quiet and to shut us up, but they're never going to tell us what they've really found.
Right.
And I was in Egypt last year, and I did take photos as well of a lot of the ground area. Just, when I saw it, I took a picture of it because, I've said before, there is beneath Egypt there was a huge area of secret tunnels that spans out for miles.
And they found that as well. They recently found that, so that's been proven.
But they've known about that for years. They've absolutely known for years. I mean, psychics and mystics and spiritual people have been talking about this stuff for years.
Yes.
So they're not uncovering it now. They've already uncovered it, and now they're saying, and they're never going to tell us the whole truth.
No.
No. Because that's not their mission. That's not their purpose.
No, but I wonder if, Jesus, too bad we couldn't get knowledge from them that would help us get to stuff before the evil people get it. But I don't know. It's too bad. Whoops.
I'm still here.
No, I almost messed it up. I was like, oh my God. All right. Yeah, so what else you got for me here?
Okay. Well, I connected to the Pleiades as a child, and it was through I had a lot of abuse as a child, a lot of sexual abuse, a lot of stuff going on, and I don't want to upset anyone because I've dealt with it, I'm happy with where I am now. But it was the sexual abuse, and I remember I had this guy lying on top of me, and I left my body, and I connected to the Pleiadians, and I during the shamanic course, because I've always remembered that I had this guy lying on top of me, but what I'd forgotten is that I connected to the Pleiadians had connected to me during that time. And again, during one of the shamanic courses I did, I remembered word for word what they had said to me, and I wrote it down, and I went home, or I went home and I wrote it down. So I've always had a connection to them, and through different courses and workshops and healing I've done, I've also remembered having a connection to them in the in-between state of life and rebirth, and also past lives. So, and I'm no different to any other starseed or channel or psychic or medium. So it's just that I'm aware of this stuff because I've been told. So I think a lot of starseeds, also a lot of psychics, a lot of mediums, and a lot of shaman, a lot of indigos have also had past lives on the Pleiadians and other star nations.
Well, that's...
it's really time for us to wake up now and take a stand and say, this is not okay, the way we're going, the way the earth is at the moment, the way the world is. Enough. Just enough.
Yep, I agree with that. My word. Have we, in their eyes, have we advanced at all since they first encountered us?
Have we?
I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it's 2 steps back, 1 forward,
I think we have. I think we have advanced. I think it's a very slow process. Because I think that if one person advances and then 10 devance, that has a ripple effect. So it will pull the person back that's advanced, because we're all connected. Like, there was an image I was shown one day, and I was on Holy Island, and I was shown an image of the sea that I was looking at, and the little droplets of water came up, and I was being shown that we're all the little droplets of water individually, and that God is the ocean. And I don't tend to believe anything unless I experience it. I'm very much on the fence.
Right.
So it is a ripple effect. What happens in America affects everywhere. If you can imagine the ocean and the droplets of water. So sometimes we're up, sometimes we're down. Sometimes we're smoothly sailing along, and sometimes there's big tsunamis. Not literally, but
It feels like it.
And everything is energy, so it does have a ripple effect. So it's really important to mind our thoughts and our energy, and to mind ourselves and our families, and to take care of ourselves.
Yeah, that certainly is true. So so their goal is to help us center ourselves rather than them come center us for us.
They're here to assist us.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'd like to have them drop into my yard one day. It's actually it's funny because I was recently encountered a lady in the group who swears that it was Pleiadians that came to her yard and gave her this, I guess it's a bracelet with charms, and she said they ripped some off and told her they didn't need it anymore, or she didn't need it anymore. And I was wondering if that was how she was able to connect at all in the first place. And it was all made of copper. I noticed that. That was a interesting note. But on the other hand, it could be just crap. So I don't. It's hard to tell who to take serious and who to discount. And I guess in my business, I kind of got to keep an open mind on everything, and hope I make the right choices in the end. But sometimes it's really, really hard to accept some of the stuff that's presented. Last night was a big example of that. But I won't go into that because he'll know I'm talking about him. So,
Okay. I've met people like that before, and some of them are very well known in the mainstream, and some of them are. I heard about a girl once living in a council flat that was channeling the Pleiades, and she didn't have a penny to her name. And I think the only real way to tell if someone is genuine is by their way of being. Are they centered and calm and peaceful? Because they would be.
that was what I told her. I says, I was testing you to see what your reaction was, because if you had overreacted, I would be less likely to take you serious than someone who had it going on and just totally just went, that's a big sign to me that someone either is on with the program or just playing a game. It's hard. So, get a lot of both in this business, let me tell you.
There is.
Yeah.
Eckhart Tolle is amazing because I think he's really got it going on. His energy really comes across.
What was the name again?
Eckhart Tolle.
Okay. I'll write that one down.
Eckhart, yeah.
Okay.
You haven't heard of him, Bill?
No, I'm actually, to be honest with you, over the years, the first time I heard of Pleiades was in the early, in the 70s sometime, when the BBC had that little interruption and Vrillion came across and said all that stuff, which we now know is all fake, but only because it came over one channel in one neighborhood. Have you ever heard that recording?
Who was it?
He called himself Vrillion, Vrillion or something like that.
No.
And he proclaimed that we were messing up and blah, blah, blah. The classic, you guys got to be peaceful or we're not going to talk to you kind of thing. but it interrupted a news broadcast, but it was only in one neighborhood. That's the funny part. And I'm like, well, if I was in another place and I was gonna do that, I would take the whole world and do it everywhere at once because you'd have that power. So, people throw that out there. They threw it out there yesterday, and I says, wait a minute, you guys, don't you know the story to this? The problem is I'm so old, I remember all this stuff. And so, I've experienced half the stuff. I remember when Daniken put his first Chariots of the God book out. That's a long time ago. 1974, yeah, I think so. Yeah, granted, I was a kid in high school, but I was right into it. Boy, I'll tell you, I saw that book and I ate it right up. And so, and now I see the kids come in and try to combat me on certain things, and I'm like, you want to bet? I can prove it. It's like, geez, it's funny.
And they don't teach that stuff in school, do they?
No, they would actually listen to us back then. We'd be saying, well, what about aliens? Well, it's possible. Now they'll say, no, 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 no. Yeah, but the funny part is the minute they say no, no, no to a kid, they go the other way. So they're all about it. So I guess my next question is, what have you been hearing from our little buddies up there?
Okay. Well, okay, where do I start?
Certainly.
They've shared with me some of the. Okay, well, one of the first things, I'll start at the beginning. One of the very first things they shared with me was we are the gods. Sorry, the word Bible. Let me start again. The word gods in the Bible should be replaced with the word gods. The word God in the Bible should be replaced with the word gods, and then things would start to make much more sense. And they created us in their own image.
Yeah, I took that to mean like each race was like a different entity involved with them, because if you listen, in most cases, not all, they'll say, well, this God taught us how to sow wheat, and this one showed us how to do this, and this one showed us how to do that. Especially the Greeks and the Romans and that kind of thing. You come over this way to South America, very similar stories, but just off because it's usually just one, maybe two gods, not a whole pantheon of people. So I started to think about that, and it kind of dawned on me that maybe we're talking about different entities altogether in these cases. But hard saying, not knowing, I guess.
Well, see, they did. I don't know everything.
Oh, nobody does.
I just know what they've shared with me. But they've also shared with me that there was 13 tribes that were put into different places, that went to different places on the earth, that were the 13 ancient sites, and we've kind of grown from there. And that the real history of the earth, our real history, is the very opposite of what we've been told and led to believe. So, there's still a war of the worlds going on that is not visible to the naked eye, not visible to the human eye, and there's like a blanket of energy that's been placed around the earth to give us amnesia, because we've forgotten who we really are and where we came from, because we're not alone and we've never been alone. We don't come from here.
Is it possible that the veil that you're talking about is the firmament from the Bible? Or
possibly.
Yeah,
possibly.
I don't know. That's always a big argument in our group about flat Earth and the dome of ice that's supposed to be over us and all this stuff. I, of course, do not believe such things, but there are plenty that do. which is scary. but, and I hate to downplay anything, but ugh. There,
Yeah, I don't believe the flat Earth theory either.
no.
I think that I think its conspiracy theory's gone too far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it has some weaving and stuff that we do have going on. That's why I was trying to put some kind of name to the veil surrounding the Earth. Is like maybe that's the firmament that they were talking about. But who knows? I mean, that's probably something we don't find out till much later in our existence.
Maybe we're not meant to know yet.
Maybe we'll never be meant to know.
Because I think everything happens at the right. I don't believe in coincidences. I think everything is the way it's meant to be. Everything is the way it's meant to be. Even the horrendous stuff that's going on Earth, on Earth at the moment. I think it's all part of a bigger picture.
It's depressing to know I was meant to be poor, though.
I don't know what to say to that.
Some of it's my own doing, I'm sure. I mean, I must have done something. But hey, they say we're the masters of our own destiny, right? So
We are.
so hopefully I can master myself into a different position. But every time you think you got it bad, you look around and you find somebody that's got it just a little bit worse or much worse. So I thank God for the little things, at this point. So we're doing well. I don't get sick.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
And we really have it so lucky, actually, in the West. We don't realize, we forget sometimes.
Yes.
How lucky we really are.
Yeah, there's people a lot worse off. That's no doubt. No doubt at all. Yeah.
So the other thing I'm just skipping around a little bit.
That's fine. Absolutely fine.
The other thing I was told is that they had electricity in Egypt.
Yes.
And when they first shared a lot of the information with me, I didn't know. I didn't know that it was already stuff that was out there that was well known.
Oh wow.
Who were researching it, so I was kind of a little bit behind with what was out there, already. So I'm kind of doing a catch up. But I remember going to school one day, and I got to the school, and they put up some type of wall or energy field where I just was froze. It was one of those experiences where I just froze, and I wasn't able to go in. And I remember them telling me that only, recently when I was doing the shamanic courses with Paul, they told me that if they didn't allow me to go in, because if I had I would have been lost to them.
Oh.
I would have been lost to the Pleiadians, to their. They would have lost me as a channel.
Wow.
So they created an energy in front of me where I wasn't able to move, so I wasn't able to go into the school system. So therefore, I wasn't able to be lost to them and into the school system.
Oh, I gotcha. So that programming of the school system would have made you not able to be. Okay, gotcha. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Because I would have been conditioned.
Yep.
I would have been conditioned, and I would have lost the connection to them. So, and for years I always felt really, I guess, ashamed and guilty that I didn't have any secondary education. But now I think that that's probably the best, it was one of the best things that could have happened to me. And I think with my whole childhood and the whole situation, and there's a funny thing I want to share with you in a second, but I think it's almost like everything, it's like I'm picking up breadcrumbs and following a trail that's been left for me, and I'm just slowly waking up myself, and sometimes day by day,
Yeah.
and remembering who I am and where I really came from, and that I'm a starseed and I don't come from here. I absolutely don't come from here, and I think some people do.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe less advanced souls come from here, but I don't think any starseeds, no starseeds come from here. So there's different, like a radio station or a graph, where you've got different frequencies. We're all operating at a different frequency, and some of us come in groups. There's a funny story, because my surname. So the funny story, my surname is Noonan.
Okay.
And when I was at primary school, I used to get called Nanu. And I don't know if you remember Morgan.
Absolutely. Nanu. Yeah.
Nanu, yeah.
Him and his egg.
Yeah. So it's little things like that pop up every now and different things like that pop up every now and again, just to remind me that I am different, and I'm not normal.
Yeah.
But I am average. I'm very average, but I'm not normal. And there's so many people out there who are the same, and then maybe they're still in a space of hiding, not wanting to share with the world what they know and their information.
Good.
So I was saying, it took, I haven't just turned up one day and on an interview and I'm saying that I channel the Pleiadians. It's taken me since 2009 to be in the space, to be comfortable within myself, to publicly, come out and admit that I'm channeling the Pleiadians. And that's not something that's a process. That's not something that happens overnight. So, and I think that, I'm definitely not alone. I think there's thousands of people that are maybe a step forward from me or a step behind. And I really, it's really important for people to go through that process and not push it down, not push it away, not think that they're crazy, because I always used to think, who in their right mind is going to believe me? And then I read Barbara Marciniak's book, and she wrote word for word the same thing that I was thinking. So it's a process that I think is very common for most people who channel information or the Pleiadians. It's a process, and sometimes it does take a number of years. But just to keep going with it, and don't stop or don't give up or don't, stop the self-disbelief, because it's nonsense. It's just ego talk.
Yeah, I've pushed away a lot of the things I felt over the years away, thinking I was nuts. Yeah, I know what you mean by that. I probably still do to a degree. I'm less likely to now the more people I meet and talk to about the alternative sciences and paranormal stuff and the like. But still, I feel resistant sometimes about sharing things. But yeah, I totally can understand where that comes from. It's fear of rejection. Most.
Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fear of rejection, and that also ties in with past life stuff, because the ancient peoples, the sacred sites, the ancient cultures, the traditional people, the Native Americans, the Aborigines, the Celts, the Irish, the Africans, they've all been persecuted, and we were them in past lives. So we've been tortured, we've been raped, we've been burned, we've been persecuted, we've had our heads chopped off. That's who we were. So lifetime after lifetime, sometimes after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, depending on our soul's journey, we've had those experiences. So that a lot of the time, that's where the fear comes from. It comes of being burned or being thrown to the lions, or
Oh, the phobias. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I could see that happen. You only want to get thrown to the lions once, if that. Any of that stuff. I don't.
Yeah, but sometimes, Bill, that's where the fear comes from.
I gotcha. Okay. So a loss of life in a past life would definitely add to a phobia in a current lifetime. Absolutely.
But within the same thing. So a lot of us, that we're healers or medicine women, or especially with the Native Americans, they've been, all of the tribes have been hounded into existence and reduced because of their spiritual knowledge, because of their power, because of their power to manifest and create spiritually.
So then it makes sense that the persecution of them would be a fear of them more than just seeing them as an inferior race or whatever.
No, it's fear of them because it's part of the war between light and dark. The war of the worlds. So it's a fear of them, of us, because that's where the true power is. It's in the stillness, in the peace, in the silence. It's not in the chaotic, crazy guy running around with a gun. It's the stillness and the peace.
Right. So it's in the powers that be's best interest that turmoil continues. So that would, because if we ever did all get along, they'd have no control.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. It does. It makes total sense. Crazy rabbits. You'd think they'd want it all to be nice, but no. I think it probably started the first time mankind coveted something of someone else's. Probably.
Say that again, Phil.
So I think it might have started the first time a human or whoever coveted something that someone else had, or wanted to take something that wasn't theirs, or whatever, whether it be material or land or whatever.
What comes to mind as you're speaking is Atlantis.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I was downloaded with information where Atlantis was at a very peaceful state, and then negative energy came in. There was ET energy, and it came in and manifested itself physically, and that would have taken thousands of years or a number of years, depending on how advanced that energy was. So again, it's ET energy that came in from outside that corrupted Atlantis. That's what I've been shown.
Okay. So yeah, they obviously had something happen to them. Now, there's been some debate about that, about what happened to Atlantis. Some people think it might have rose into the sky. Other people think it was just outright destroyed. Others still think it could have even been Antarctica that got shoved down to the south of the border there. But
there's definitely an area below there.
Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Definitely, and there's a lot of secret government work going on there.
I worked there,
Did you?
I worked at McMurdo Station, for 6 months, yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and that's why I know the Earth's round, because I could see from that station, I could see the curve of the Earth from the peninsula there. And I've also been up into the Asgard Mountains range right there.
Wow.
And if you look on Google Earth, you can actually see like ancient walls and outlines of buildings, but they won't tell you that. They will not tell you that. As a matter of fact, I don't think they even allow people to go up there anymore. But when I was there, you could. That was in the early 80s. 84 to 86. I went back and forth. But I was an engineer. So.
You're very lucky to have that experience.
Well, they had an ad. They wanted electricians down there. So I went, well, I'll do it. I didn't have anything else going on. But yeah, it was a very interesting time period. And I guess now there's even more great spots you can go check out that I haven't been able to get anybody to sponsor me down there. But you can't just go. You have to be sponsored to go. So that's the problem. And that's one of the things that bothers me so much, is that they closed it off so much. It wasn't that bad back when I was first getting into this stuff. But now it is. And it's funny. You would think they would relax it more, but whatever.
But there's so much there, Bill, that is hidden, and it's massive. It's huge information. information.
Yep.
And that's why they've got it so secretly guarded and out of bounds because of that.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, if that stuff was, and I don't even know what's really going on out there. I haven't been told yet, but I know that it has great meaning to our existence, and I know that they're hiding it.
Mm-hmm. There's supposed to be pyramids there. There's supposed to be all kinds of stuff. A place, there's a name, the Germans in 1939 spent a lot of time and money down there exploring, and they dropped Nazi flags over the whole continent and stuff to claim it as their own. And there's supposedly an area down there called Agatha, which is beneath the ice and is an old civilization. And apparently, supposedly, quote unquote, is where this ancient civilization actually was. They are supposedly able to drive submarines right up these ancient river channels that have cut through underneath the ice, right up to it. This I do not know. I wasn't privy to any of that kind of thing when I was there. We didn't see much of that kind of talk at all. We were a government installation, so it was partially civilian and partially Marines when I was there. Now this is 85, 86. And then the last time I was there was quickie. It was only a 3-month tour. Something happened, and they sent a whole bunch of us back. And I don't know what happened because I was never asked to go back again. So, yeah, maybe I asked too many questions. I don't know, but there was over 12 of us that got sent home right then. So it was a. Go ahead.
Did you ask questions?
I did, especially when we went up on the Asgard Mountains. I'm trying to remember the name of that one peak, but in particular, being from New England, I had seen dolmens and chambers and all kinds of alignment stuff before. So when I got down there, we were up on the ridge, and I went, "Well, that's funny. That looks like a circle, well, I called them sighting circles at the time." And I remember my boss looking at me and saying, "No, it's not." And he said it in a way that said, "Yeah, but no." Don't say that, or something along those lines. And I asked a few different people different questions over the time period, but nobody had any, or if they had answers, they weren't sharing them, or they made very light of it. That was usually when someone does that to me, I know they're trying to hide something. So that's kind of where I went in my mind, and they probably figured that out and said, "You know what, this might be too much of a liability." And anybody else that did the same was probably sent off on the same boat, because I know we all went off. We got shipped down to South America and then took a plane from there. But yeah, that's
Sorry, Bill.
No, I was. Go right ahead.
I was just going to say, it's no accident that you were there, and saw that stuff and experienced it, and all the sacred sites, they're all energy points, and they're a map. They're also a map that correlates to the star systems. So they're all it's all significant, and it all ties in together. But I think with that area in particular, I think if we were to find, I think if that information was revealed to us, or we were to find out, I think it would change even, people that skeptical people and non-believers. I think it would change their minds, because I think they would be faced with something that you cannot ignore.
Yeah. No denial on that. Yeah. It's so interesting. Our history is so old. It's so different than what we've learned. I mean, more and more finds all the time are changing how conventional researchers are actually looking at it. So I think we're in for a big surprise this year. I'm kind of privy to some information that I'm not supposed to tell, so I've been holding back telling anybody, but it's so hard to do that um, because I wanted to say, no, it's like this. I know for a fact, but I have to wait until the people who are responsible for the information feel safe to so yeah, they're scared to come right out with a lot of it, and they're waiting for final results on some tests on some things, and once they do that, I'm sure it'll be forthcoming. But until they can sit there and because right now they have to protect their source of their data, so they're holding me back, and I know some secrets that I'm not supposed to know, and ugh, I don't want to get a ricin pill in my food either. So
But then, if everything is the way it's meant to be, does it really matter? At the end of the day, we should all be just having a big party and just, sometimes it's easy to, because I do believe very much in the conspiracy theories, but I think the way that David Icke teaches it, and I do believe most of what he says, but I think the way he teaches it creates a sense of fear within people. Just the way he comes across, and that's just
my problem with him started when he first came out.
Okay.
Because he said some obvious lies, and I've never been able to forgive him for that. And so everything he says now, I question. That's the problem with him.
What did he say?
I'm trying to remember. I was very young. He's been around for quite a while.
Yeah, I remember watching that interview on the big scene.
Some of it was totally crazy. And he's gone away from that now. He hasn't brought it up in many years, which even tells me more that it was all bull. So now I question everything from him. Unfortunately, I mean, there's other people that remember him back then as well, and they knew he was full of it then. So, I mean, we're a small group now because there's so many younger people that have latched straight onto him, And I'm like, geez, you guys don't remember this, but he was considered quite a fruitcake back in the day. And now he's on Ancient Aliens, so I don't know. And I'm not, so I guess I can't say nothing. But I do remember that when I was the early days of my researching, him coming out and saying some outlandish stuff that have since proven total fail. But he doesn't say it anymore, so he kind of flows with whatever works, I guess. I don't know what his game is, but I hope it's for real, because there's so many people that do believe him, and I don't want him to be wrong. I really don't. But I do remember when he was totally wrong, however, and he lied about some stuff, and
Okay.
so when he did that, he lost me. Right about the same time as that, Giorgio started coming up in the ranks really heavy. Now, I met Giorgio when I was quite young in 1979, and he had his legendary Times magazine going then. And I called him on some stuff, and he doesn't say that stuff anymore, And but at the time, I was like, Giorgio, that doesn't make any sense. I says, yes, I'm with you and Eric Von Daniken, 100%. I agree with the Ancient Aliens being here. But some of the things you guys tie to it start to go crazy after a while, because they want it so bad, and I think that's part of it. They want it to be true so bad that they end up making stuff up. And that doesn't work for us. It's got to be real. If it's real, then, I mean, there's enough there without going crazy. There's a guy, actually, here's something that you might be able to relate to. There's a guy in New Mexico. I've literally seen uncut footage of him doing this. It has to be real. Has to be. He walks out into the desert with witnesses. He don't care. Come on, let's go. Walks out in the desert. He raises his hands up and makes a tone in his voice, and the lights start coming out of the sky. They just start flowing around, and I'm like, either he's a magician, or he is calling these entities in here with just his whole aura, whatever that is.
Absolutely, and that does happen.
And that's impressive to me. You can't argue with that kind of thing.
That's someone who's genuine, who has a genuine connection, and is calling them in, and they're coming.
Yeah.
You know?
They're in on his program, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's a mass hypnotist,
No.
but whatever it is, it stays on film. It's not fake stuff. It's real lights, real reactions, and
And here's the thing, Bill. If you're on the spiritual path, and you call out to them, they will answer. Whether it's Auntie Nellie down the road, or Jesus energy, or Mother Mary, or Pleiadian energy, if you call out to them enough, they will respond and they will answer. And if you build, it's like having a relationship with anyone, with your wife or your partner or your husband or your lover or your brother or your son. You have to build on it. It doesn't just. It's not. You have to build on it.
I just got goosebumps from some. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. So I think that you're very much a starseed. And the other thing I wanted to say was that there are, we can get our own answers, because we are being fed nonsense with what's really out there by the governments and other industries, other companies. But we can get our own answers, and it starts with you, and it starts with me, and it starts with the guy down the road,
Right?
Where we can sit down and meditate and channel, and we can connect to these energies and call them in.
Awesome.
Because we're all equal. There's no one on this earth that can't do that.
Well, it's something to try. So you heard her. You go out there and try this stuff, you guys. You do as much as you can. Well, we're all on the same team in the end, I guess. I have no choice. But yeah. So let's see. What else do you have for me? Anything?
The language has been manipulated and changed, and there's so many words that when you look at them, that there's meaning behind them, and it's connected also to for me, it's connected to the symbols as well, and sound, and I kind of group those energies together, language and sound and crystals and color, because to me it's part of the same thing. It's part of the same thing.
Okay.
Because sounds that do have meaning, and that's why they work when we're toning certain sounds. So on the word play, I call it, is when you get things, words like alienation or history, or let me think what other words are there. There's but you know where I'm coming with this, where the words have been changed and manipulated to means that they've changed it and played. It's like a game. They played with the words where they actually mean something else.
I'm a big fan of what I call resonance theory, where people talk about how the huge stones were moved and things like that. Well, it's been proven that certain tones will move something's center of gravity. Yes. Yep. So the chanting and all that. Yep.
Yeah. The pyramids were built with sound.
Yeah. There is a lot of evidence to support that, actually. So.
But none of this stuff is new. I mean, mystics and psychics have been talking about, and other people have been talking about this stuff for years.
Mm-hmm.
And most of it has been proved by science and people that are in power, and it still hasn't been filtered out because they don't want it to be.
No, they don't want us to know that. Well, that's great. Okay, let's see if I have anything else here. Now, you were mentioning something about places of enhanced energy and things of that nature. Do you have any idea where these things are, or are they something that you just find out when you get there, that this is an energy spot? There's no way to really map that, is there?
You mean for us now? Or
Yeah.
when they created them?
Well, I know that when they created them, I know there was plenty of energy there that could be felt, but I'm wondering if the continents have moved enough to change that, or whether it's something that's forever in one spot, or whether it's not actually where it is, but what's in it, that kind of thing. But there's a lot of unknowns in that field.
I don't know the answer to that.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I know I went to one sacred site in Ireland called Carramore in Sligo.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite an ancient site. And I did feel the energy of the Pleiades, but I felt it on a very subtle level, very subtly. And I felt that previously that it had been a hot spot and it had a very high frequency energy there, but I felt it had diminished. So I feel now the energy is not there in the way it used to be. It's very subtle. So there's only a percentage or a proportion of the energy left in that place.
Right.
And I think that is the same for a lot of other places. But I don't know if you've been to Egypt. When you go to places like Egypt, the energy is it's so high, it's throbbing, it's pulsating.
Wow. Yeah.
So energy in those places is still there, but I think in the smaller sites, because Carramore would be a smaller site, I think it has diminished or got less, because I think those sites have been forgotten about, where they're not visited in the same way today as they are today by Star Nation energy. I
gotcha. Okay. Well, that completes anything I have here as far as that goes. Let's see. Well, if you don't have anything major to add, we will try to wrap it up, I guess. But we're doing pretty good, though. We average about an hour each time, so that's pretty good. Yeah. So.
I really enjoy talking to you.
Oh, I as well. Yes, I love it. So anyway, we've been talking to Carol Noonan, and if you. Why don't you give them your site and all the contact info if they want to get a hold of you or whatever?
Yeah, okay. My website is thepleiadianchild.com, and I'm still re-editing my book at the moment, but that's the Pleiadian Child on Amazon.com. And I'm having my website redone as well. But I do psychic readings and mediumship and angel cards. I do quite a lot of stuff, so if anyone's interested in getting a session with me.
I'd be scared.
Would you?
I don't know. I might not want to know the truth. Just once, and that was at a carnival. And yeah, she was, pretty wrong, actually. But she was ancient. But she might not have been totally wrong. She did say I'd end up with a blonde wife. Which was funny because I was with a brunette at the time.
Did you tell the brunette?
Oh, yeah, she was standing right there. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, she loved that, I'm sure. But
what did she say?
Oh, just that I would live so. She said I had a funny line in my. She was a palm reader.
Yeah,
She said. Oh, she just kind of flowed with it. She goes there every year anyway, so that's no big deal. But well, anyway, folks, this has been Carol Noonan, and please do look her up and check out her work. And if you need to contact her, you've got that information. And my name again is Bill Peters, your host here at The Slice. Thank you and have a good day.
Thanks, Bill.
What makes someone reach beyond the boundaries of human experience to face the unknown? As children, we question the world around us. We learn, we accept, and gradually we lose our capacity for wonder. But some do not. The explorers, the seekers of truth. It is these pioneers who define the future of mankind.
To rise up.